Alrighty, so I know it's been a little minute since Umar Nurmagomedov got fraud checked, and the cliff is now slowly crumbling. Now that their whole sort of strategy has been found out, you know? Who knew, Umar? You just needed to run, dumbass. Start doing morning jogs, idiot. Fucking, you call yourself an athlete gassing out in round 5. Oh man, just wait until you get spots on the back like Merab Dvalishvili has, and that is the topic of today's video. Now, why am I talking about Merab Dvalishvili? Now, I'm not even a huge fan of Merab. I'm not going to sit here saying that I'm a huge Merab fan. I always wanted Merab to beat Umar, even though I think I did pick Merab to pick Umar. So if you're looking for picks and predictions every week, I upload every single event every single week between Tuesday and Thursday, and I do a breakdown on every single event that happens on the weekend. So if you're looking for picks and predictions, feel free to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Shameless plug over. So yeah, Merab, you know, in his prime age of 35, I think it's time, or 34, gonna be, or no, he just turned 34. Holy fuck, this guy's still young, guys. Still in his prime at 34. Just has the best cardio in the UFC. It is uncontested. You know, apparently against Ricky Simone, he just somehow cast out guys. And then he just got better after that. You know, wasn't even a, you know, long turnaround. You know, normally with a dramatic change like that, you know, you just see some sort of year break, maybe 2-year break. Not from Merab, couple months and you'll do it. You know, he just needed to run every morning. You know, turns out that's all you need to do to have cardio in the UFC. You know, and strike like a toddler. But there's a good case this guy's probably invincible and no one beats him right now. And that's what I'm going to get into, because his resume is already fucking insane. Like, I know I've just recently started watching the UFC for the past 3 years consistently, but his names are really good. Jose Aldo, one of the better featherweights, and also former champion, obviously, but also still looks good. You know, in his last outing against Mario Bautista, he should have won that fight just based off damage and strikes. And then he also whooped Jonathan Martinez, but he looks good still. You know, he still got some snappy leg kicks. He still got that pop. He still looks, maybe not prime, but he still looks like he's able to stand and bang with a few fighters. You know, and Jose Aldo, just being a great former legend, is a good name to have. But then you move on to Peter Yan. Peter Yan's a really good name to have, and that's just aging even better. You know, Peter Yan recently beat Davison Figueiredo, which is a former flyweight champion moving up. One of the bigger, heavier hitters, I guess you can say, in the flyweight division, who moved up to the bantamweight, aka 10 pounds up. Got a little bigger, filled himself in with a couple fights against Rob Font. And I think he had one more that I'm forgetting the name of, but he did end up fighting Peter Yan, and he was basically outstruck, and he was getting tossed around, kind of, by Peter Yan, showing that Peter Yan still has great, not takedowns, but at least trips or throws, as you can call them, and then also great fucking boxing. His boxing is arguably touted as one of the best in the UFC. If you ever watch Lucas Tracy, MMA Guru, or even Bedtime MMA, they will more often than not agree that Peter Yan has one of the best boxing in the, or striking in the UFC, we should say. You know, they'd probably say boxing, but I'll just say striking in general. Peter Yan, great fighter. Close loss against Sean O'Malley, which is another name we're going to get into. But Peter Yan, great name to have on your record. Was a champion, and still could be a champion, technically speaking, if Merab ever decided to move up, or there was an interim belt involved, and Peter Yan could get the interim belt, some sort of situation like that. But moving on to Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo is also a good name to have, as we'll show you right here. As you can see, Henry Cejudo in round 2, this wasn't like a close locked-in guillotine or everything, but Merab did Merab things and was kind of just tossing Henry Cejudo everywhere. Now, he did get wobbled by Henry Cejudo, but regardless, Triple C is still a good name to have on your record, just because he was arguably one of the best bantamweights of all time. Now, that's kind of like out of the question, just because, or combat athletes, I should say, not necessarily bantamweight, because he was formerly a wrestler, came over to the UFC, did UFC things, but, you know, he did rob Demetrius Johnson, but, you know, he kind of retired on top, came out of retirement, lost to Aljo, and now lost to Merab. And now it's just a good name to have on your record. So you can see, if you do end up watching this fight back, I'm obviously not going to like, play the video. I'm not looking for UFC to jump down my throat, even though I'm a small YouTuber slowly growing an empire. Just saying. But yeah, Merab was basically dog-walking Henry Cejudo whenever it came to the grappling. The striking was a little bit more closer, but Merab was always ahead, like he is with most of his opponents, as I'll show you here. The stats between Peter Yan, as previously mentioned, and Merab are actually kind of wild to think about. Now, when you watch the fight, it is kind of just Merab outpacing Peter Yan pretty much everywhere. He did fail a total of, what was it? It was a record-breaking clinch ground leg. Where are the takedowns here? Takedowns. He attempted 49 takedowns, guys. You know, it's so great that he's actually natural, not on PEDs. You know, otherwise we'd have to remove him of the conversation, as they did with TJ Dillashaw. But Merab Dvalishvili here not only outstruck Peter Yan in terms of volume in a Max Holloway fashion. It's kind of insulting, actually. I'm not even going to say that ever again. He did outstrike Peter Yan, regardless, with significant strikes and total strikes, and attempted the 338 here, as he normally likes to do. His invincible style of outstriking an opponent is always to just throw your hands when you're not even close in range. For some reason, they still get counted as attempted strikes, when it's more likely that that person's just throwing their arms in the air like an absolute toddler. But, you know, who am I to really write the stats here? I'm not the stat writers here. You know, and we can see the landed strikes. We can see that Merab actually outlanded him in every single round. And now, you know, some people could argue that Peter Yan was dealing with that health condition that was reported, where his whole body was apparently on pins and needles. However, you know, maybe that's just to say, you know, God has favorites sometimes, and maybe it was just the day where No Mercy had to get whatever health condition it was so that Merab can get that win, and probably never get a rematch, because Merab will constantly be fed, I guess, not free opponents, I'll say, but he'll be fed other names, because he's pretty much fought every name there is in the bantamweight current division. So he's just gonna fucking eat these guys all up and just let them fight amongst themselves and see who the strongest is. Peter Yan might be in there for the rematch, but we'll see, I guess. But yeah, just wanted to mention this as credit to Merab Dvalishvili here, guys, you know. And then moving on, we have the Sean O'Malley fight. Now, why am I bringing up the Sean O'Malley fight? Well, even though, you know, actually, let me get some light on me real quick. There we go. Yeah. Even though I would arguably say that Sean O'Malley won that fight, he did beat one of the best strikers at the time rated by myself and a few other YouTubers. But no, Sean O'Malley is a good striker. I think we all know that. There's no denying that. You may not like his personal life outside of the cage. I don't either. I think it's a bad representation. He might be terrible on the mic at times and only really come up with bangers when he makes YouTube videos or YouTube shorts of it. And his humor is typically more akin to a young teenager growing up, I guess, with a lot of his Aljamain poop stain logic when it comes to a lot of his advertisements for his fights. But regardless, he did knock out Aljamain Sterling. He did it in an impressive fashion, as I predicted. Now, a lot of people did have Sean O'Malley, to be fair. Shout out to, I believe it was the lock of the week for Jacob We Want Picks. I believe that was the lock of the week. I think it was Sean O'Malley. I do remember Jacob actually picking Sean O'Malley, and he got it done. Merab was able to weather the storm and even make it all the way to the endings of round 5 without really suffering that much damage, other than, you know, the bloody nose, but that happens. The cut above his eye, which was self-inflicted, because Merab is just so invincible. He will injure himself by jumping into ice, or by getting a cut above his brow via, I don't even remember what the fuck that cut was from, and then he'll remove the stitches himself, just to flex on Dana White, showing him how tough he is. Gets in the cage, knows that cut will reopen, and even though the cut opens, they won't give him the round, because it's Merab we're talking about, guys. You know, he outstruck him by doing this while not in range of Sean O'Malley, guys. Come on, this guy's gotta be fucking invincible. You know, toughs it out until round 5, where he does get a, what appeared to be a liver shot, or a, I guess, solar plexus shot, one of the two, that almost put him down. But because Merab is so tough, and he wants it so bad, he was able to survive that round and make it to the judges' scorecards with Sean O'Malley. And, unfortunately, Fortunately, got the judge's decision. Now we move on to the last victim, which is obviously Umar Nurmagomedov. Now, a lot of people, I believe he was even the favorite, Umar Nurmagomedov. A lot of people, specifically from a certain region, were touting this guy as the next big thing, you know? A lot of the Khabibs will say, we're touting this guy as the next big thing, can't lose, he's just better everywhere, better striking, you know, wrestling might be equal. I think we found out that Merab's wrestling is actually much better than the Cliff Dwellers anticipated. And his striking was even far more fierce than they were anticipating. And that cardio is just unbeatable. Some may say even invincible. But yeah, Merab did kind of dog walk Umar for the later rounds. And early rounds were close enough that I think you could arguably swing either way. For a Merab, you know, arguably 4-1 guys, arguably 5-0, if you really think about it. No, there was times where Umar had some success, but not more success than Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley, you know, he got that 3-2 decision. Merab got a 4-1 decision there, you know, by majority, and kind of did make Umar Nurmagomedov, as you can see in the depiction, like an absolute fucking toddler out there, just tossing him around like he's his little bitch, as they say. But yeah, Merab just dog walked him in the later rounds. Umar couldn't stop the takedowns, and I know these copers will come out of the woodworks and be like, well, his hand broke in round 1. So let me just ask you guys something, right? How does a broken hand occur in a fight? Does it just randomly shatter? No one could have foresaw it happening? Or does someone inflict said broken hand via guarding the strike or hitting the area that is broken? If you don't get what I'm trying to say, because you might be, you know, still huffing that copium, right? I'm trying to say that Merab's the one who broke his fucking hand in round 1. Therefore, he wins that round unanimously because he broke Umar's fucking hand. Your hand doesn't break just randomly. And if your argument is that, oh, well, Umar was throwing the strike, you know, and it just landed the wrong way. Merab made him land it the wrong way. You know, if a leg breaks in a fight, the opponent who checked the kick gets that sort of criteria there. When Weidman's leg snaps in half, you don't say a no contest. You say that his fucking leg broke, he loses. That's how that works, you know? So, if Umar really did get his hand broken, I guess he's more frail than, you know, even the Cliff thought he was. You know, just can't handle the invincible Merab. And other than Umar, there's really no other prospect that can come up and take Umar's belt from him. Corey Sandhagen got fraud-checked in his IQ by not being able to figure out that he needs to throw more than a jab after receiving 3 strikes from someone to be up on the scorecards. I know, crazy things in the top level of the division. And then he goes on the Rampage podcast, decides to talk about how it sucks winning, you know, and how winning can sometimes be bad for you. Sandhagen, what the fuck are we doing? Anyways, a little side tangent over. I think it's safe to say Merab is one of the best bantamweights of all time. And in fact, Merab is so invincible and so humble, he just doesn't even say he's one of the best of all time because, well, I guess we'll find out what he has to say. Let me just unmute that. Let me just play this back, and let me just, you know, volume. Yeah. All right, we're good.
You have headlined the highest gate in UFC history. You have the most win streak in bantamweight history, most control time. Are you the greatest bantamweight fighter in the history of the UFC?
No, Aljamain Sterling is the greatest.
Oh, just in case it's too quiet, because I haven't checked the audio and the recording. He just said Aljamain Sterling is the greatest fighter of all, or greatest bantamweight of all time. Whoa, Freudian slip, my bad. Greatest bantamweight of all time, and man, how humble do you have to be, and so invincible too. With you can even see here the spots on his back. No doubt from hard work, couldn't be from anything else. But you know, he does say Aljamain Sterling is greatest of all time, and let's just play and see what else he has to say.
And don't forget Dominic Cruz.
Oh, even the retired. Unfortunate news, yes, I heard. The retirement of Dominic Cruz, he even gets a shout out by Merab. Is Merab just not the best bantamweight of all time, guys? This guy not only is the best bantamweight of all time, but he will humbly relinquish that title for his fellow competitors and friends. You know, is there nothing that Merab can do? But with all that being said, that's all I wanted to talk about today. How Merab is truly invincible, and maybe he might be the best bantamweight of all time. You know, and I don't think there will be many to take his belt other than Sean O'Malley in a rematch, but I guess we'll have to see, guys. But yeah, with all that being said, I want to thank you for watching, and if you made it all the way to the end of this video, well, I hope you have a good day.